What's going on, everybody? Adam here with eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Omega LED RV porch light. So this is going to be an LED light. It's going to take a lot less draw than your incandescent bulbs. Has a nice little switch here, so it's not always on or always off. You can choose, and it's got a nice amber lens giving out about 357 lumens. Just to show you guys exactly what it looks like, there you go. It's extremely bright. We're in our shop right now. It's completely dark, as you can not see, but it is going to be a nice light that's not too bright. You can look at it. I don't really recommend staring at the light, but if you do glance over there, it's not really going to blind you at night. It has a nice amber look to it, which might help with some of the bugs that might be attracted to the light. So if you're just with a couple people and you kind of want to hang out outside of your camper, it's going to be plenty of light. Honestly, it's going to put out a little bit more light than a campfire. So if you're in a spot where you can't make a fire or you don't have wood to burn, this is going to do really well. It's going to have like a nice warm look to it, so it's going to kind of resemble a campfire. To get a closer look at the inside of the light, we are going to have one LED plate and we are going to have 21 diodes on it. And don't mind the screw holes missing here. We do suggest putting all 4 in, but we're doing a lot of trailer lights and we don't want the side of this camper to look like Swiss cheese, which is nice. I highly suggest just getting LEDs for everything on your camper, whether it's interior or exterior, just because it lasts about 50 times longer than your traditional bulbs, and it also takes less power. It seems like a no-brainer to me. Why not use less energy and have to replace the bulb less often? No-brainer for me. Maybe it's not for you, but take my advice and go with LEDs. As far as dimensions go, we are going to have 6 and 13/16 long, and we're going to have about 4 and 11/16 wide. All in all, it was an extremely simple install. Whether you're just putting it wherever you think is right and or just replacing it, it didn't take me much time at all to get it all hooked up, and it works just fine. So don't be afraid if you're not necessarily the most technical or mechanically inclined person. This is going to be extremely easy for anybody who tries to install them. To begin our installation, what we're going to have to do is either remove the light we plan on replacing or just find the right spot for where we want to put the light. Make sure you have the right wires. Today I'm going to be putting black to black and white to white, but I don't want you to go by color. Always go by function. So test the wires first, just in case we don't want to run power to where it is not supposed to be. You could fry some stuff, and that's not what we want. What I'm using is some heat shrink butt connectors. So if you don't have any, we have some here at eTrailer. I usually start with the light just because it's a little easier, especially if you're doing it by yourself. And they come they're already crimped off, which is nice. You don't have to do any of that. Plenty of wire for it. Just crimp those down. Give it a couple crimps. And then give them a good tug. Make sure they're nice and connected. And then move on to the next. Now we can go ahead and hook them up. If you don't really have a lot of wire to work with and you think it's going to make it a little bit more difficult, because it will, I wouldn't be opposed to adding wire. That's what I kind of did. I add some wire, shoved it in there so I can take out what I need. So if you are doing it by yourself, this is the easier route to go. It's pretty much the same exact thing. Crimping them down. Make sure they're nice and in there. And the nice thing is too, if we do leave ourselves quite a bit of wire, if for some reason these aren't really seating that well and they pull apart, which this one's good, we'll have more wire to work with. So that is something I highly suggest, because you can always take off wire. You can't add wire without making another connection. So quick tip for you. Now we can take a heat gun to shrink these up. I highly suggest using heat shrink connectors, just because if any type of water does get in there, it's not going to get to the connection. I just highly suggest doing it. It's not a very hard thing to do, and it will prevent anything bad from happening. So might as well take the precaution now so we don't have to redo something we've already done. Now that that's all done, we're pretty much done. So shove all the rest of that excess wire in the hole. And luckily we already have the holes kind of already drilled because we're doing a replacement light. So that's nice. But if you are making your own holes, just use some self-tapping screws. And what we need to do with this, let's see up top there's a little lip. Just get that out, and then the lens should slide out. And then you can see the pretty LEDs, which are going to be saving you money. So I'm going to go ahead and put this upside down. Doesn't really matter either way. And now I'm going to go ahead and use the hardware I had on my previous light on this one to get it all secured down. Now we can go ahead and tighten these up. And we can do that for the remaining 3. Now it's time to put the lens on. Kind of shove it in there. Clip it in the bottom. And now, hopefully, we have some light. Which we do. Very, very bright light. And everything works, and we're pretty much done. And that's going to do it for a look at the Omega LED RV porch light, and I'm Adam with eTrailer.